49ers losing this game. And I'm surprised that it's not the biggest. It's, they are the biggest favorite of the weekend. They're not, are they? They're only the third biggest favorite, and I'm surprised by that. I thought there'd be a double-digit favorite here.
James, I've been tracking the silent killer for years now, and it appears that perhaps the Vikings could be dealing with the silent killer.
Absolutely. Let's start with the wide receivers for the Vikings. Adam Thielen got stitches for a cut in his ankle that he got Wednesday in practice. Stephon Diggs has the illness, if you will. Safety Jaron Kearse has a knee and toe issue. He did not practice on Wednesday. Defensive tackle Linval Joseph has a knee injury. He didn't practice. And cornerback Marquise Alexander is ruled out for this game. Switching over to the Niners, defensive ends Dee Ford and Kentavious Street are both dealing with leg issues. Ford with a hamstring, Street with a knee. Center Mike Pearson is questionable for the game. Undisclosed ailment here. Look, I said this on the recap after the Vikings beat the Saints, and congratulations to them. Kirk Cousins actually didn't screw it up because everything was laid out in front of him. He didn't have to do much of anything except for that one throw to Adam Thielen at the end of the game. And I pretty much said it like this, and this goes to both quarterbacks for the Niners and the Vikings, Garoppolo and Cousins, respectively. Neither quarterback can win this game, but they can both lose it. You're talking about two teams with very strong defenses that are coached up very well that, if you have to pick and choose your moments, if either of these teams gets up double figures, it's going to be near impossible for the latter to try to come back if they have to throw the football. It's just not going to work. They both have stout defensive lines and competent secondaries that can pretty much get the job done. My concern with the Vikings, and we saw a lot of this throughout the Saints game, and, wide receivers will always get on them for being divas and me-first guys. Stephon Diggs, even if he's ready to go on Saturday, if he's not getting passes, he will be a disruption to this offense.
Weather will not be a factor. Partly cloudy and 54 degrees in San Francisco on Saturday. Weather will not be a factor in the nighttime game either. Kicking off at 8:15 on CBS. It is the Tennessee Titans at the Baltimore Ravens. The weather, by the way, 65 is the high. The low for the overnight will only be 62. So it's going to be downright balmy in Baltimore. It will be cloudy. The Ravens finished the season number 1 in our power rankings. The Titans finished 12th. It is a 9-point spread. And I don't know where Jordan disappeared to, so I filled in as the Tennessee Titans superfan, and Don is our Ravens superfan. And here's what we have to say about this matchup.
Hey, it's your superfan battle for the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens, but you're saying, hey, you're PodVader, you're the New England Patriots superfan. What are you doing here? Why are you involved in this Titans-Ravens battle? Well, that's because Jordan, our Titans superfan, seems to be on and off. I don't know where he's at. He's around every now and then, but I told him to get in touch with Don, our Ravens superfan, and Don hasn't heard from him in a while. Have you, Don?
No, I have not, but while I'm here, so we'll go ahead and do this ourselves.
Well, and I can also say I've lost to both of these teams, so I have a pretty good idea of what to expect when it comes to the Titans and the Ravens. Don, we'll start with you, though, and your team, since you are the official superfan of your team. On offense, I mean, to me, what is unique about the Baltimore Ravens this particular season is that they've done the quintessential zag while everyone else is zigging. So while every other team in the league has been moving towards the RPO and lighter, faster players, your team is built of a bunch of big bruisers that are going to run and beat the heck out of you with a very unique quarterback in Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it's kind of, at least the running back part, it's kind of similar to what the Patriots have done, especially last year in the playoffs, where it's like, again, you just alluded to it. Everybody's getting smaller and faster, and the Patriots would just line up and just pound the ball. Doesn't matter whether they were getting 3 yards or 5 yards a carry; it just didn't matter. The Ravens, of course, is different because you have the Lamar Jackson effect, and it's not just the multiple factors of who's going to get the ball. It's the different kind of formations. You have guards and tackles pulling. They'll run one play out of the formation, then later in the game, out of that same formation, it could be a bootleg from Lamar. It's very unpredictable. So I think the key for for any defense against the Ravens is really just to be lucky and and guess the play correctly. If you think it's going to be Mark Ingram or Gus Edwards, you just dedicate yourself to that on that play and don't hesitate for even a second, because if you do, you're done.
The Mark Ingram is a big key. He was the second leading rusher on your team. Lamar Jackson was your first, but Ingram was your leading running back. He is on the injury report and has not practiced. How are you feeling about Mark Ingram going into Saturday?
Not good, because I don't feel great about it, because they said he was last week was running at full speed basically, and then he felt some tightness in the calf and pulled it back. He didn't want to re-injure it, so I don't know if he did re-injure it or what's going on, or they're really just giving him some really extra rest, because like you said, he hasn't practiced, and he hasn't practiced as of when we're recording this either. So that could be a problem. We saw in the week 17 it didn't matter. Gus Edwards and Justice Hill just, plus RG3 ran all over the Pittsburgh starting defense. But, Mark Ingram not only gives them that a little bit more burst quickness than Gus Edwards has, but he also, we've really utilized, his ability in the passing game this year. Unlike, Gus Edwards or Justice Hill in some respects.
Defensively, I don't know exactly how the Titans really match up against you, because quite honestly, I don't think they do. I think that it's going to be tough for the Titans. They have a big injury in Jayon Brown, who, is listed, I think, as questionable. But he did not play for the rest of the Patriots game. It looked like he may have torn his arm out of its socket or did something to his shoulder, and it really hurt him real bad, not once but twice. So I don't expect to see Jayon Brown involved in this particular game, and that's going to be a big hit to the linebacking core, which of course is going to be key to slowing down the run game of the Baltimore Ravens. So I don't have a lot of faith that defensively the Titans can do much to even really slow you down. Where I think the Titans' best chances would be offensively. They are, while your team did run for a lot of yards, the rushing leader resides on the Tennessee Titans side of the field in Derrick Henry. But the underreported story of the season for the Baltimore Ravens, being outshadowed by Lamar Jackson, is the fact that your defense has been quite good.
Yeah, they end up being like number 4 overall, which after being at 2-2, we would have imagined that. Just some key changes, some key pickups. Josh Bynes and LJ Fort, off the scrap heap to be able to make a difference. Picking up guys like Justin Allison, Domata Peko, later on in the season to help shore up the run defense a little bit. Keep our guys fresh. But yeah, it's impressive. It hasn't been. There's been some good amount of turnovers, and it's been the pass rush has been getting there. But as I'm sure everybody's been saying for the past several weeks, the Ravens are the most blitz happy team there is, so they're not getting there with just 4 guys. So they have to bring pressure, but to be able to do that, you have to have the secondary to hold up, and the Ravens have after trading for Marcus Peters and getting Jimmy Smith back. They've been really outstanding. You don't hear a lot about Earl Thomas because he's really not playing the same kind of position like he was in Seattle. He's just that one deep safety. he has a different role in this defense, but between him and the rest of the secondary, they really have been locking it down. I mean, I think if the Titans are going to get it done, I think it's going to be playing keep away and them running the ball, which has been their bread and butter. And if there's a way to beat the Ravens, though, it's going to be these outside runs, which teams have really been able to really gash the Ravens on these outside, the tackle runs. So I think that's what they're going to be attacking with first.
The last time these two teams met was a blowout victory last season, 21-0 by the Ravens. Your team scored 11 sacks on the Tennessee Titans. Now, it was a Joe Flacco-led Ravens, and there's a number of those members on the defensive side that are no longer with the Ravens. But I do think your defense is better than it was in that particular matchup. Quite honestly, the only thing that I can give Tennessee is they're coming in with the hottest quarterback in the league in Ryan Tannehill. They're coming off of their biggest win probably in their franchise history in beating the New England Patriots last week. And Mike Vrabel, who has learned under the tutelage of Bill Belichick, won't go into this game without having his team prepared. He's going to have something up his sleeve to do something that will make your team uncomfortable.
Whether it's Andrews or Boyle or Hurst, I think Titans could surprise me on Saturday night. But based on their history this season, I think the tight ends against the Titans are going to have a field day against them. That's going to be hard to stop.
That sounds like an X factor, my friend. It sounds like the tight ends are the big X factor in this one for the Titans. I already mentioned it. It's Mike Vrabel. Whatever he has up his sleeve is going to be the difference for this particular game. I just don't have a lot of faith that the Titans are going to be able to get this one done. And I apologize for stepping in for Jordan, our Titan superfan. And not being as optimistic as I possibly could. But quite honestly, I just don't see the Titans having the weapons in place to make a victory happen. Now, that being said, I read earlier in the show a stat about the away teams in the NFL playoffs right now are on the plus side of 500. So maybe there's a little something to that. Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I think from the pick Sunday rating, a lot of people are favoring the home teams this weekend, which is interesting. The division winners, that played last week, the 3 and the 4 seeds, were not considered real dominating teams, especially Philly coming off of all those litany of injuries they've had. Them losing at home wasn't a huge shock. I think that the home teams this time around, being your 1 and 2 seeds, are going to be a lot stronger teams on both sides of the ball. But Tennessee, I think, keeps it close going into the fourth quarter. But I think the Ravens are too much. Ravens end up controlling the fourth quarter, pull away. Did you have a guess on what the score would be?
Let's see here. I don't normally do the score predictions. Right now, the Ravens are favored by 9 points in this particular game. I think that's about right. Maybe a 10-point victory for Baltimore. I'd love to be a lot more optimistic for Tennessee, but there's just too many things in their favor. As I mentioned, their biggest win in their franchise history. There has been a Patriot hangover for many of those teams that did beat the Patriots earlier this season. There could be a Patriots hangover here for the Titans going up against the Ravens. I don't think Vrabel would allow his team to do that, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like 27-17 Ravens. Again, being close into the fourth, but Lamar Jackson and the rushing game is being too much for him in the end. Hopefully that's what happens.
Yeah, weather won't be a factor either. Unseasonably warm, 65 as the high. The low is 62. So it's not even going to get colder as the game plays on. It's going to be in the 60s for this particular game. Not the type